Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Conejo Oaks Baseball here at Sparky Anderson Field at Cal Lutheran University. As always, today's broadcast is brought to you from Austin Gregory, Sammy Holladay, and we'll be joined later by Cameron Deck. I'm Josh Mechanick. The Oaks are trying to right the ship here in the second half of the summer. The Oaks ended the season in the first half of the summer, 9-13 on a two-game losing streak, and they're going to look to bounce back today after 3 days off for a majority of the Oaks players. Yesterday's showcase game ended in a win for the South and a Brendan Durfee home run derby crown, and the Oaks will maybe try to build off the momentum of one of their teammates winning the home run derby, see if that brings some positive energy into this dugout and potentially boost the Oaks into the playoff spot in the second half of this summer. It was a tough one on Sunday, Sammy, 11-1 loss for the Oaks, but 3 days off could give them a chance to bounce back, and we'll get your answer as how we think the Oaks can do that following the national anthem, as it looks like we're about to get underway with the national anthem, and first pitch will follow. We'll be right back. The national anthem has been played, and Kyle Dobyns is on the mound ready to make the first pitch. And Sammy, we're about to talk about it, how the Oaks ended the first half of this CCL season on a bad note, but 3 days off, potential to turn things around here today.
Yeah, it's just a case of you just gotta forget about it, think of it as a fresh start to the season, and we got to start winning some ball games because with the playoffs coming up, if the Oaks want to qualify, they have to leapfrog the Blues.
They,
Currently 1.5 games back. The Blues have played 3 less games than the Oaks, so I've got to do a little scoreboard watching as well.
and it's a spot that the last playoff spot has been occupied by the Oaks for the most part of the summer until just this past weekend when the Blues leapfrogged them, and with 3 games in hand against the Oaks, or for the Blues, they have some chance to add a padding to that lead in the standings, and they can only go up with those extra 3 games. So the Oaks have their work cut out for them in the second half, and they're going to start their second half against the OC Riptide, led by Nick Upstill in the leadoff spot, followed by 3 straight CCL showcase players. Connor McGuire batting second, Brady Morgan batting third, and Reese Chapman, the late addition to the Riptide, who, as his sizzling start, got him into the showcase game. Nathan Cadena bats fifth, Colby Canales plays first base, then bats sixth, Patrick Hacksworth is the 7-hitter, Connor Clift doing the catching duties is batting eighth, and another CCL showcase player, and Daniel Garate, rounds things out for the Riptide. Kyle Dobyns is the starting pitcher for the Oaks today. We saw Dobyns the first week of the summer, and then there was a long gap in between outings for him due to an injury, but his last outing was very solid, just the one inning to start the ball game, and he'll look to shut down this Riptide lineup. And catching Dobyns today will be Brady Francisco. The rest of the defense for the Oaks is Drew Smith at third, Zach Schwartzberg plays shortstop, Carson Falsken getting the start at second, and Max Aude over there at first. Then the outfield, Austin Carrillo in left, Moyer in center, and Chris Wright in right field. Dobyns comes home with the 1-1. Swung on and missed for Upstill. Upstill this summer is hitting just below 200, so he's looking to get things going. Still leads the Riptide in at-bats, so it's a guy that they like having in the lineup, and they're hoping his bat gets going soon. The 1-2 in the dirt. Upstill, local guy, goes to Pepperdine University. And even though his numbers are subpar, but still not striking out whatsoever, just 5 strikeouts this summer, 6 walks. Sounds like looking like he puts together good plate appearances, just waiting to get the results. So the account is now full, with Connor McGuire waiting on deck. Riptide got some great hitters in the middle part of this lineup. Dobyns trying to get Upstill here. Payoff pitch. He's lined into left center field for a hit. Moyer cuts it off. Upstill's going to stay put at first. It's a leadoff single.
As far as the leash goes for Kyle Dobyns, we don't know how long he'll be able to pitch in this ballgame because he is coming off an injury. But also with the 3 days off, everyone is fresh as far as arms go. With the only 2 that you can for sure say will not pitch today is probably Blake Riley and Cole Fisher as they pitched in last night's showcase game.
Another guy who was in the showcase game yesterday, Connor McGuire, comes up to bat. McGuire takes a first pitch strike. He's playing for the Riptide for the 2nd straight summer, and after being a bit of a role player last year, he's really got it going this summer. Got his average up at 382. On base percentage near 500 as well. So McGuire certainly earned that bid to the showcase game. Dobyns fires in a breaking ball. Strike 2.
McGuire also had a 2 RBI single last night in the showcase game. I believe he gave the South the lead as well late in the ball game.
McGuire behind in the count 0-2 now. And he lifts that one to right field. Chris Wright on the run. He'll make the catch for out number 1. Yeah, the showcase game last night was a back and forth battle, and we saw the Oaks players, each and every one of them, contribute. Cole Fisher getting a couple outs. Blake Riley pitching an inning, of course, giving up a 2-run homer, but South still won. And Riley looked great other than the 1 pitch. Brennan Durfee picked up a sacrifice fly, and Moyer walked. So
I was talking to Blake before the game, and he said it was a case of a missed sign. He threw a fastball in. He thought he just saw the catcher throw down a pinky on the inside, so he thought it was a fastball in. But in between innings, the catcher told him, "Hey, I threw down a 3 for a slider. You didn't see that?" And he just laughed. And he said, "Oh, nope."
well, that's unfortunate for Blake. And
yeah, he looked really good. With the exception of that pitch. Just with the showcase game, it's just a case of a lot of guys are just fastball hunting, looking for their pitch, trying to put a good swing on it.
Yeah, before the game, I talked to him as well, and he was very pleased with his outing. Thought he could have potentially won the pitcher of the game had he not given up that 2-run homer. 1-2 now the count to Grady Morgan, another guy who played in the showcase game yesterday for the OC Riptide. I believe he was in the starting lineup. In 260 this summer. And he swings and misses at a Kyle Dobyns changeup. His first strikeout of the day.
another thing that Blake Riley mentioned was just how great of an experience it was. All the scouts that are there, MLB scouts, college scouts, and just being able to, it's such an honor to be named to the showcase game. This is a very competitive league, and to be recognized amongst not only your teammates but your peers around the league. It's a big deal, and all the guys that are there, they just had a great time yesterday and really showed out, put on quite the show. 9-8 ball game, and you might say, oh, there must have been poor pitching, but there was actually some really great pitching as well. There were several innings that Cole Fisher looked great. The starter for the Foresters looked pretty good. I think he had 3 strikeouts.
Yeah. Kyle Dobyns fires in a backdoor breaking ball to get a strike on Reese Chapman. But yeah, just that experience for all these players getting to be surrounded by stars that are your age. It's cool. I'm sure that you're picking each other's brain, learning new information.
And the home run derby too. That was we were skeptical that whether it was going to be entertaining or not per se. Didn't think that there'd be many home runs, but there was.
Yeah.
I heard that the wind was blowing out to right field, so the lefties really had an advantage, and Brendan Durfee brought home the title for us. But I think Reese Chapman had a round of 8 or 9 home runs,
I believe,
too.
yeah. Reese Chapman has been tearing the cover off the baseball this summer. He's hitting over 400 since joining the Riptide with 2 home runs.
Coach Solis was throwing to Durfee as well, and they looked like they were in the zone. Obviously, they must have been winning the competition.
Coach Solis is a great guy you want throwing your PP. 1-2 the count to Reese Chapman. Dobyns comes home. It's grounded over to shortstop Zach Schwartzberg. Fires across the diamond. And after a leadoff single, Kyle Dobyns sits down the Riptide in order as we head to the bottom of the first inning. 0-0. We are back for the bottom of the first inning, as the Oaks are going to be facing Matt Maloney. For those of you that aren't familiar with the name Matt Maloney, last summer he battled with Alexander Rivas for the CCL ERA title. The two of them were by far the 2 best pitchers in the CCL South. And after being absent from this Riptide roster for the first few weeks of the summer, Matt Maloney's out there to make his summer debut for the Riptide. I stand corrected. This is actually his second appearance. He threw 2 innings earlier this week as Moyer lines one into right center field for a hit. Takes a hard turnaround first base and retreats to the bag. Just like the Riptide started off there first, Moyer begins with the leadoff single.
Well, Josh, the three of us in the Cam obviously know the talent that is Matt Maloney, and for us last summer with the Oaks, we had a similar situation where we had a top talent, Raul Sandoval, magically appear on the roster for the Oaks, and this is the equivalent for the Riptide. They add, as you said, the guy who eventually won the ERA crown over Rivas last summer was also the pitcher of the game at the showcase game last year, and just was a force that could not be touched all season long for the Riptide.
Now it's Zach Schwartzberg. He finds himself in the 2 spot today. Normally the 9 hitter for the Oaks, but Coach Solis deciding to move him up. Very capable with the bat in his hands. We've seen him hit leadoff as well a few times this summer. Hitting 270. Moyer over there at first base has a couple stolen bases this summer. And he takes off now. The throw down from Clift won't get Moyer. The second baseman, Cadena, was unable to handle it, and Moyer's in there safely.
The pitch that the Oaks hitters have to look out for on Maloney is that knuckle curve that he likes to throw. He can throw it for strikes, and when he's got 2 strikes on a hitter, that's his go-to pitch to get those strikeouts, which he had a plethora of last year.
As Zach Schwartzberg hits it right back where it came from, right back up the middle for a base knock. He's going to advance on a throw home that overthrows Connor Clift as Moyer stays put. Second and third, nobody out for the Oaks.
Some conservative base coaching there from Coach Parker. Obviously, with the throw in hindsight, could have made the decision to send Mac Moyer home, but never want to even risk making the first out at home. So it's better to be safe than sorry. And when you have some good hitters coming up in Austin Carrillo and Brendan Durfee, you would like to think that they can drive in the runner from third.
Both Durfee and Carrillo are 2 of 3 Oaks players with double digits RBIs this summer, along with Chris Wright. As the Riptide keep the infield back, so a lot of different ways Carrillo can drive in a run here. The 1-0 is high. Maloney has yet to throw a strike that hasn't been put in play for a hit. It was 1-0 to Moyer when he ripped his single to right center, and 2-0 to Schwartzberg when he got his knock. Now he's fallen behind the count, 2-0 to Carrillo, who we know likes to be aggressive. Is hit to the left side, and it gets past a diving Daniel Garate. Staying put at third base is Schwartzberg. This time the cutoff man is hit, and Carrillo stays at first. 3 straight singles to begin the ballgame for the Oaks, and they lead 1-0.
Oh, and this is just examples of some great approaches at the plate for the Oaks, and you love to see it, especially against a guy like Matt Maloney, who the Oaks, I think, only were able to get to once all summer last year. And early on here, 3 straight singles to start things off, and we see a rare first inning mound visit now, and obviously the Riptide are going to be careful of the Derby champ in the plate.
For Maloney, that's now 3 batters, 3 strikes, 3 hits. He's fallen behind in the count all 3 times, and the Oaks hitters, just sitting on fastball, have done a great job of hitting the ball where it's pitched. Moyer taking an inside fastball, lacing it to right center. Schwartzberg taking one middle right back up the middle. And then Carrillo taking an outside pitch and hitting it to left field. Just textbook pieces of hitting for the Oaks, who are threatening for more here with the runners at the corners and nobody out. And with yesterday's home run derby champ, Brendan Durfee at the plate.
And Maloney didn't have an outstanding spring, not eye-popping numbers, certainly not numbers you'd expect after the summer he had last year. 4.8 ERA and about 40 innings or so. The strikeouts are good, over 9 strikeouts per 9, at 42, but the walks are the problem. 21 walks to 42 strikeouts. It's not what we saw.
As Durfee goes after the first pitch and rips it foul, just foul. It actually hits the first base umpire, who was standing in foul territory, so that even lets you know more that it was a foul ball.
We would be remiss if we didn't mention that the first base coach today is Coach Joe Garcia, and he's definitely bantering the first base umpire. I don't even know, he's probably got to get it out of the way there, and just having a little fun with him.
Making people laugh as only Joey can do. 0-1 the count to Brendan Durfee, who laces one into right field. 4 straight hits to begin the ballgame for the Oaks. Carrillo's going to go first to third easily, and the Oaks have runners at the corners once again.
Wasting absolutely no time to get the offense going, coming back from the 3-day break. 4 straight hits, and from a pitcher who was so dominant last year, 4 batters and not one whiff.
It's hard to get whiffs when you're not throwing many pitches in the strike zone. It's fallen behind every hitter until Durfee, and they've been making him pay on the strikes. So that one just misses off the outer half. 1-0 now to Drew Smith. Took Smith a while to get going this summer, but he's been much better as of late. He takes that breaking ball. There's that knuckle curve that Sammy's been talking about. 1-1.
It's also the first called strike that Maloney's got. Josh mentioned every pitch that's been logged, the strike has been put in play or fouled off by Brendan Durfee. Had 1 foul ball last at bat. Second one there.
Another foul ball. 1-2 now the count. Oaks already with 4 hits and as many batters, which I believe equals their total in Sunday's contest. I think they might have picked one up in the 9th to get their 5th of the day, but much better performance offensively today. 2-2 to Smith. Carrillo at third, Durfee at first. Still nobody out for the Oaks. Only looking for a strikeout here. The 2-2. Misses outside. 3-2.
And with Maloney's command issues right now and the amount of hard contact he's given up this inning, what he cannot do is walk Drew Smith to load the bases for Chris Wright on deck.
Riptide already sent a pitcher down to the bullpen as a 3-2 comes in and Drew Smith goes down swinging. The hardest pitch that Maloney's thrown today, so he really revved up for that one, touching 91 on the radar gun. Smith goes down on strikes, which brings up Chris Wright. The 1 away and runners at the corners. Wright looking for a productive out at the least in this situation. Trying to keep it off the ground and get the ball in the air here. Get Carrillo home. Wright lines that one foul into the Riptide dugout towards that pitcher who's stretching down there. Wright's been the main RBI man for the Oaks this summer, leading the team with 13. Also leads the team with 3 home runs. He takes a breaking ball up and out of the zone. Each of Wright's home runs have done some damage. Hit a grand slam. He's hit a 3-run homer. Picking up a lot of his RBIs that way.
He had a solo home run in Sunday's ballgame, which was the only run for the Oaks.
He gets jammed and hits one in foul territory that Connor McGuire can't get to. 1-2.
We were told yesterday that the Santa Barbara Foresters brought someone just to participate in the home run derby. If we knew that was allowed, it would have been pretty fun seeing Chris Wright in the home run derby. especially with how the wind was blowing yesterday. Really a big advantage for lefties.
1-2. It's fouled away. Yeah, it's pretty. I'm surprised he even wanted to do that. Take a, it's a off day and coming down. It's a drive from Santa Barbara down to Compton and making an appearance in the home run derby that Brendan Durfee ends up beating him in the final. 1-2 to Chris Wright. And he goes down swinging on a changeup. I think that's the first time we've seen that today from Maloney. Back-to-back strikeouts for Matt Maloney.
Sammy, could it be a new walk-up song from Aude?
He changed it last game.
Yeah.
It's a miracle.
Changed it last game, yeah.
As Austin mentioned, it's Max Aude up there now. The Oaks had runners at the corners with nobody down, but there's now 2 away after Smith and Wright go down on strikes. Aude's hitting an even .300 this summer. Slugging percentage just below 400 for an OPS over 800. Just below 500, I should say. As Aude swings through that one, 0-2. For the most part, over the past few weeks, we've seen Aude in the designated hitter role, but he's back in there defensively today, playing first base. The 0-2 from Maloney. Chopped foul. The Oaks have really made Matt Maloney work this inning. Even if it's just the 2 runs that end up coming in, the Oaks will be more than happy with their start to the ball game. The 0-2. As Durfee goes, throw is in the dirt, throw down to second is not in time.
Oh, speed demon.
The home run derby champ showing he can do it all. Stealing second and allowing the Oaks to pick up another run as Austin Carrillo comes in to score. First stolen base of the summer for Durfee.
It's just a really poor tag at second base by the shortstop Garate.
Aude foul tips this one to stay alive. Yeah, it did look like the ball beat him, Durfee, at second base, but his foot got in there.
Definitely did. Good eyes from the base umpire there. Sometimes you'll see umpires just give the defense the benefit of the doubt when the throw beats them, but
Aude shoots that one back up the middle. It's hit very softly, so Garate cuts it off, fires, and it goes past the first baseman and into the dugout for another run. What a tough inning from Matt Maloney, who gives up 4 straight hits, picks up a couple strikeouts where it looks like he'll limit the damage to just 2. And then after a stolen base and an error, an infield single with an error, the Oaks put 2 more up there, and it's 4-0.
Oh, and it's a lucky break for the Oaks. It looked like it was going to be a lackluster performance after starting the inning off with 4 straight singles, followed by 2 strikeouts. But the Oaks get a couple lucky breaks as they add now 4 here in the bottom of the first.
And that'll be a single for Aude, but then he won't pick up the RBI, as that only came in due to the error by Garate. Now Brady Francisco up there. Takes in the dirt. Good block there by Clift. This summer for Francisco, looking to get it going and below the 200 mark. Maloney's 2-0. It's popped up on the infield behind the first base bag, and coming over making the catch is Nathan Cadena, the second baseman. Matt Maloney finally gets out of the first inning, but not before 4 runs come across for the Oaks, who lead 4-0 after 1. Back for the top of the second inning. The Oaks lead 4-0 after 4 runs in the bottom of the first on 5 hits against Matt Maloney, who last summer was the best pitcher in the CCL. Kyle Dobyns fires a first pitch breaking ball to Nathan Cadena.
And Josh, as you were mentioning in the first inning with Dobyns, obviously, with it being the long break after his injury after his first start, we're curious to see what the length is for Dobyns today.
He went 3 innings, was it? His first start?
Sounds right.
Second start, his first start back from injury. 1-1 the count to Cadena. And he hits that one down the right field line, no man's land. It's going to drop for a hit. Potentially extra bases for Cadena as kicks off Chris Wright's glove. It'll be a double for Nathan Cadena.
Could be interested how that's ruled, because if Wright fields it cleanly, I doubt Cadena even tries to go to first, so that might be ruled an error.
Definitely could be ruled an error. Certainly would have been a close play there at second base had Wright fielded that cleanly. Brings up Colby Canales with a runner on second and nobody out. This summer, Canales is 5 for 27. Takes the first pitch breaking ball from Dobyns in there for a strike. Dobyns does another breaking ball that makes Canales look foolish. 0-2.
So far, that breaking ball has looked really sharp from Dobyns. Been able to throw it for strikes. That one got the swing, but that one might have been called a strike as well.
Just about a perfect pitch from Dobyns. See if he can do it once again. 0-2. And that is the third straight breaking ball, and Dobyns locates it well, but Canales is able to lay off.
That's good right there. That's a really good pitch.
After tripling up on the slider from Dobyns, we'll see if he changes things on this 1-2 pitch to Canales. He goes with a fastball and gets it by him for strike 3. Brings up Patrick Hackworth. I think we've concluded that his name is Hackworth, not Hacksworth.
Typo at his home stadium. Brutal.
A lot of issues at that stadium, huh, Sammy?
Yeah.
Hackworth takes a strike on the outside corner from Kyle Dobyns. This summer, he's hitting just below 250, but all 10 of his hits have been singles for Hackworth. Looking to drive in Cadena from second base. As he foul tips that one, looked like he got a piece of the umpire.
Just another nasty breaking ball there from Dobyns. Really has it working right now.
0-2 to Hackworth. Cadena out there on second. One out here in the second. The 0-2. Misses away. Looked like that was supposed to be a changeup from Dobyns that just got away from him. Very uncompetitive pitch. One-two to Hackworth. Is hitting the left field down the left field line. It'll drop for a hit in front of Carrillo. He throws to second as Cadena is able to score easily. And the Riptide get one back here quickly after a Patrick Hackworth RBI single. Oh, and the backward gets to second. I was writing my scorebook. I didn't even see what happened.
I had
Just caught the defense sleeping.
Yeah, I had my head down too.
Everybody had their back turns. Nobody was near second base, and he just took it.
Nobody called time.
Some heads-up base running there from Hackworth to get to second and get himself in a scoring position for Connor Clift. I'm sure that's going to make some people upset in the Oaks dugout. Not something that should ever happen at this level. So another breaking ball's in there for a strike. Dobyns has really been able to locate that pitch today. Connor Clift this summer, also 5 for 27. He swings and fouls off the breaking ball. Looked like he got a large chunk of Clift himself.
Cliff looked up to the heavens to see where that ball went, but it was at his feet.
Yeah, I was a little confused as to what he was looking at.
He hit it and he just looked up and like, where'd it go?
Oh.
And he felt it go off his foot. He's like, oh.
Well, he's now behind the count 0-2 against Kyle Dobyns. Dobyns delivers and gets a strikeout. Third strikeout of the day for Dobyns.
That slider's looking really nice for Kyle today.
Continues to locate that slider and pick up some Ks with it as well. Brings up Daniel Garate. He was a member of the South team in last night's CCL showcase game. Garate hitting .357 this summer and playing some stellar defense over there at shortstop. He fouls this one back. Earlier this summer, we saw Garate make one of the best catchers any of us have seen, diving towards the Oaks bullpen to make a catch. It's really been his defense that stands out this summer, but also hitting .357. There's a breaking ball from Dobyns. 1-1 the count. One the count to Garate.
So cheaper than I paid for my ticket to the Dodgers.
That one misses. Oh, it actually gets the outside corner. 1-2. Great work from Brady Francisco to win that strike.
Back door was wide open there. One of those big sliding doors people have in the backyard.
1-2 now to Garate. Dobyns picks up the runner at second, comes home.
Just missed based on the last call.
It's another changeup that gets away from Dobyns. 2-2 to Garate. A difficult guy to strike out is Daniel Garate. Anyone with single-digit strikeouts still at this point. The 2-2 is a swung on and missed, and it looks like it hit his back foot, and he went. No? Did he foul tip it?
We're gonna need some more explanation there, Bob. What's going on here?
Looks like there's gonna be a foul tip, and they're gonna keep the at-bat going. Thought it was a looked like it was a literal back foot breaking ball that he swung and missed on.
Yeah, I didn't see any contact there.
They must have got the knob. I'm not sure.
No, nothing from the Oaks dugout, but Garate flails at another one. Just wanted to look silly, 2 pitches in a row.
Swings that sword well.
And with a couple of hits sandwiched in there, Kyle Dobyns strikes out the side. It's 4-1 Oaks as we head to the bottom of the second. Carson Falsken leads things off. There's a pitcher down there who is stretching and getting ready to throw it. Looks like he'll start getting up and throwing once there's some trouble for Maloney, but as of now, he's just standing down there. As Maloney threw a 29-pitch first inning, which saw 4 runs come across and 5 hits scratched off the board. Those 4 runs that Maloney gave up have to be close to the number of total runs that he gave up all of last season. As Falsken swings through that one, 1-2. For Falsken this summer, he's still looking to get it going. One of just a couple guys that's under 200 for the Oaks. He's getting the start today at second base as he fouls away a Maloney fastball.
Josh looking up the Riptide statistics from last season, and it appears that everything has been logged to one player.
Yeah, I tried that earlier.
He threw over 300 innings.
356 innings, a 21-17 record.
In 2 months. It's got a strong arm.
Man. Cy Young would be proud.
Yeah, seriously. Well, now it looks like I got the exact same thing now for this year. Reese Chapman's the only hitter for the Riptide, apparently, and he has 750 at-bats. 2-2 to Carson Falsken. Pitch from Maloney. It's lined into right field for a base hit. Really nice plate appearance there from Carson Falsken, who hits a single to right field, and that's already the 6th hit of the ballgame for the Oaks.
And you mentioned Carson Falsken trying to get it going. He had a 2-hit game. I think it was Saturday before the break, and since he's went to just right-handed instead of switch hitting, he's looked a lot more comfortable at the plate.
Yeah, even during batting practice the other day, we saw him hit a couple of home runs down and slow, or up and slow.
And with baseball, it's such a mental game that having that level of comfort is just so important to any player.
Now Falsken over there at first. Moyer up at the plate. Singled and came around to score back in the first. That one's in the dirt. Cliff finds it before Falsken's able to advance. 2-0. The first 4 Oaks hitters in the lineup each scored in the first inning. They've already flipped the top half. Once again here in the second. It's now 3-1, 3-0 on the leadoff hitter Moyer. Pitcher down in the Riptide bullpen has begun to lightly toss, but a Riptide coach just told him to ramp things up down there. So Maloney's day could be coming to an end shortly.
It's really not something that we expected coming into today when we saw that he was on the lineup card.
3-0 to Moyer in their first strike. The number of long games that Maloney produced for offenses last summer, it's pretty shocking to see this turn of events in this ball game. Seems like the Oaks are on just about every pitch. 3-1 to Moyer. That one misses once again. It's a walk. The first walk surrendered by Maloney. He's been getting behind in counts, but that's when the Oaks have been doing their damage. To Moyer just now, he was unable to get back into the strike zone, and Moyer is more than happy to take a walk. First and second, nobody out for Zach Schwartzberg. Normally this could be a bunting situation, but with how the Oaks are seeing Maloney in his command, might let Zach see some pitches. He does show bunt anyway, though, and it's a ball. Schwartzberg was one of those guys that led the game off with 4 straight hits, the second of the 4. Zach's going back up the middle. He's showing bunt early, and he bunts it foul. Schwartzberg unhappy with himself. Look to regather and pick up a sign once again. Schwartzberg didn't see it the first time, so asks for Coach Parker to give the sign a second time. 1-1 the count. Zach shows early, pulls back. They're going to appeal to see if he went, but he did not. 2-1. With the control issues that Maloney has been having, you can see why Schwartzberg is showing early. Just another thing that Maloney has to think about. He's doing so again right here, 2-1. This time, Schwartzberg punts it foul once again. 2-2 now. Schwartzberg now gets into battle mode with 2 strikes. Looking to do a job in this situation. Especially after not getting the bunt down. You know Schwartzberg wants to make an impact some way. Maloney's 2-2. The breaking ball that Schwartzberg goes swinging at on a pitch in the dirt. The first out of this second inning. It's always frustrating as a player when you can't get a bunt down a couple of times and then go down on strikes. We know that Schwartzberg takes that to heart as well. I'm sure he'll look to make a significant impact in a different facet of the ball game as the game progresses. First and second for Austin Carrillo now. He takes a changeup from Maloney. Great pitch, but Carrillo's able to lay off it. That was the 3rd strikeout of the day for Maloney. 3 of the 4 outs he's picked up have come via the strikeout, but there have been a lot of damage in between as there's an inside move from Maloney, but Cadena broke a little early and Falsken was able to get back easily. He's been out there on second for a while trying to pick that timing. It's weird to see a second baseman holding on the runner with the lefty. There's a big hole on the right side of the infield. Carrillo swings and misses at a fastball. Usually with a lefty hitter, it's the shortstop holding on the runner, but with Cadena holding him on, that 3-4 hole opens up. Maloney gives Falsken a couple looks, comes home, and misses outside with the changeup. 2-1. 2-1 the count to Austin Carrillo, who picked up an RBI single back in the first, drove in the first run of the ballgame for the Oaks. He pops this one up. Daniel Garate is there to make the catch.
Infield fly rule was in effect there with runner with the force out with 2 runners on and less than 2 outs.
Now it'll be up to Brendan Durfee with 2 on and 2 outs. The Oaks started off the inning with a couple base runners, and then Zach Schwartzberg went down on strikes, and Austin Carrillo popped up. So Carson Falsken is still out there on second base. Mac Moyer at first for Brendan Durfee, who ripped an RBI single to right field his first at bat. Bat continuing to stay hot after yesterday's Derby win. There were some shots during that as well. It's hard to watch the Derby, but luckily for us, the Conejo Oaks social media team, Connor Mullen, is on top of his game, and we got to see some of it live on the Oaks Instagram page. Counts 1-1 to Durfee. We also got great video of Durfee's final home run, which is cool to see. 1-1 the count now. It's pretty rare to see a 4-hitter get his second at bat of the game in the second inning, but 6 hits, that's where we are for the Oaks. Still no runs, though, in this second inning after putting up 4 in the first. Maloney hoping to strand 2 base runners. The Riptide bullpen has been ready to go in case Maloney gets into too much trouble, but he's looking to work himself out of it right now. Got the strikeout of Schwartzberg and the pop out of Carrillo. Now looking to get Durfee down the inning. It's 2-1 the count. Well, he comes home, and Durfee chops that one down the first base line, foul. 2-2. That one just staying foul before the first baseman Canales can make the play. Durfee getting to stay alive. 2-2. The Riptide are back to having the shortstop hold on the base runner, so it's a smaller hole on the right side as opposed to what Carrillo had. The 2-2 to Durfee. It's a changeup rolled over to second base. Take a tough hop for Cadena, but he's able to make the play. And the Oaks strand a couple of base runners. Matt Maloney is able to get out of a jam, and we headed the third inning, 4-1 Oaks. Back for the top of the third inning. The Oaks lead 4-1. They got a couple of base runners to begin the bottom of the second, but were unable to get either of them home. As Matt Maloney bared down and got 3 outs, and there's nobody down in the Riptide bullpen. It could just mean that the pitcher is ready and waiting. There's just the one guy down there sitting. So that could be it for Maloney, who's at 53 pitches through 2.
Oh.
Kyle Dobyns has that breaking ball working today and fires one in the back door. 1-1 the count. Riptide are back to the top of the lineup. Nick Upstill. He led the game off with the base knock, and he hits that one to shortstop. Zach Schwartzberg makes a tough play and gets the out. That one looked like it was going to eat up Zach and knocked him over, but he was able to make the play and fire across accurately.
Nothing wrong with a little extra flair. As long as you get the out, that's all that matters.
See Schwartzberg practice similar plays like that often. Now Connor McGuire pops one out of play.
Took a really wicked hop off the mound, which he was setting up as just a routine play, but once it went off the mound, there's definitely some English on that ball.
Yo, 1. The breaking ball that misses. 1-1. The throwback gets by Dobyns. McGuire flew out to right field back in the first. Still hitting almost 400 this summer. The 1-1 misses up. 2-1. Two and 1 the count to McGuire. There's a breaking ball that just misses up and in. 3-1. Grady Morgan waiting on deck. Another showcase player along with McGuire. Dobyns 3-1. Is rolled over to shortstop. Schwartzberg makes a diving stop, throws across, and he got him.
It's like Zach may have gotten some extra work in during the All-Star break.
Couple of really solid defensive plays by Zach Schwartzberg to begin this third inning.
That would have been, these two plays would have been good enough for him to win the defensive player of the game last night in the showcase game. One of the wildest things I've seen. They awarded it to a guy who made a diving play, but he didn't even catch the ball. He trapped the ball. The guy trapped the ball, clear as day. They didn't call the guy. They didn't even fool the umpire because the umpire didn't say it was an out.
Oh, the center fielder from
it was
that dove and trapped it.
Yes,
He
the
got
Prune Packers.
Oh yeah, he got the goal.
He won the defensive player of the game.
That one's driven out to right center. Going over is Moyer, and he calls off right to make the catch. A quick 1-2-3 inning for Kyle Dobyns. The Oaks lead 4-1. We head to the bottom of the third. We are back for the bottom of the third inning as we're trying to help Cameron Deck through some TrackMan issues. New pitcher for the Riptide is Tristan LeMaison. Maloney's day is done after 2 innings, giving up 4 runs on 6 hits. He did pick up 3 strikeouts, though. As the first pitch breaking ball is in there for a strike against Drew Smith.
There's also some action in the Oaks bullpen. Is that
Charlie.
Charlie?
Yeah. As Drew Smith drives that one out to center field. Going back on it, having a lot of room out there to make the catch is Grady Morgan. It's a good swing there by Smith, but couldn't get his hands in all the way on that inside pitch and flew it out to center field. I think we are going to assume that Kyle Dobyns' day is done after 3 innings, with Charlie Adamson already beginning to warm. Dobyns threw 48 pitches through 3. See if they let him start the 4th inning, but we know Coach Solis isn't a big fan of pulling pitchers mid-inning. Go on to Wright is rolled over to first base. Easy play for Canales. Touches the bag for out number 2. 2 quick outs now. Max Aude has to have a long plate appearance here. Charlie Adamson might not even have enough time to get ready for the 4th inning. Aude had an infield single back in the 1st, and a run came around to score on it as Garate's throw across went into the Riptide dugout. Aude takes that one for a strike, 0-2. Aude just confirming with the home plate umpire that he won't go any further inside.
That would have been a tough pitch for Max to even try and turn on, too. A smart take.
The 0-2 is a changeup that Aude swings and misses at. A very quick 1-2-3 inning, which mirrors Kyle Dobyns' top half. And that brings out Charlie Adamson for the 4th. 4-1 Oaks. Charlie Adamson indeed begins the 4th inning for the Oaks to face 4, 5, 6 in this Riptide lineup, and Reese Chapman. For Charlie this summer, he's got an ERA just over 5, 6 runs and 10 2/3, but those numbers are a little skewed, as it really was just one blip, one bad outing for Charlie, but other than that, he's been one of the best relievers for the Oaks this summer. He fires a first pitch strike in there to Chapman, who rolls it foul. Chapman is a dangerous bat in that lineup. Grounded out to short earlier, but hitting over 400 this summer and slugging over 800. Good for an OPS of about 1,300 as he lines that one to second base. Falsken gets a nice hop. Throws over to first for out number 1. Hard hit ball there by Chapman that Falsken is able to get on a short hop and make the throw over.
Just calm defense right there from Falsken. No panic whatsoever, just trusted his glove and was rewarded with the short hop.
Brings up Nathan Cadena, who singled and advanced to second on the same play as Chris Wright. Couldn't field the ball cleanly out there in right field. Cadena then came around to score the only run of the game for the Riptide. 4-1 ball game, top 4. The Oaks put up 4 in the first. The Riptide followed with 1 in the second. And then both pitchers pitched a 1-2-3 third inning, so that's where we stand. 2-1 to Nathan Cadena, is in on the hands and fouled back. 2-2.
Jeez.
Huh.
Charlie just fell asleep on the mound for a second.
2-2 to Nathan Cadena. Adamson shakes, comes home. It's in the dirt. 3-2. Colby Canales waits on deck. Adamson comes back with a 3-2 pitch. It's grounded to the left side of Schwartzberg, who makes a throw on the run and records the out.
Another nice play by Schwartzberg defensively.
Having a really good game out there so far.
Those are the plays that we see Schwartzberg practice very often during pregame ground balls. Likes throwing on the run. And compared to the last 2 plays he made, that one was very routine for Zach. And that brings up Colby Canales, who goes after the first pitch, listed to left field, down the left field line, a mile high, as Carrillo has a long run to get there. And he makes the catch for a 1-2-3 fourth for Charlie Adamson. Just 9 pitches needed to be made as we head to the bottom half. Still 4-1 Oaks. Before we get going for the bottom of the 4th inning, we just wanted to take a quick moment to thank our sponsors. That is, of course, the Amateur Baseball Development Group, founded by Mike Socho, Randy Riley, Kevin Muno, and Amy Ashford. We could not do what we do without the support of the Amateur Baseball Development Group. We also can't forget Richardson Sports, the official hat sponsor of the Conejo Oaks and the entire CCL. And you can buy Conejo Oaks hats at the front gate here. Of course, we cannot do any of this without the generous love from our sponsors. We are just about ready to start the bottom of the 4th inning with Brady Francisco stepping into the box. Francisco was the 8th and final guy to hit in the marathon first inning. That saw the Oaks plate 4 runs. Falsken was the only man not to hit in the first. That one's in there for a strike to Francisco. No one warming for the Oaks, so looks like Charlie Adamson's going to be going for multiple innings. There's another breaking ball that's in there for a strike. 0-2. Francisco popped up to first, back in the first. And he lines that one to right center. That'll be a base hit for Brady Francisco. It's cut off by Hackworth, so Francisco stays at first, but very positive signs there for Brady. It's exactly what you're looking to do. Lace that pitch to right center field. Textbook swing. Been coaching some little kids camp this week, and that's the exact approach I've been trying to preach to them, right center. And Brady Francisco with an excellent example of that on an 0-2 pitch, shortening it up and ripping it to right center field. Brings up Carson Falsken. Falsken also reached on a single back in the second. He got down in the count 1-2 and then fouled off a couple pitches, worked it to 2-2, and then laced a single to right field. He was stranded at second base. The 1-1 in the dirt, enough to get away for Francisco to advance to second. Some frustration from the Riptide side there. The Oaks have a runner in scoring position with nobody out now. Similar situation to back in the second, where they weren't able to come through. Falsken hits that one softly, back to the pitcher. That does the job as Falsken's thrown out, but
Full swing bunt.
Francisco advance. A swinging bunt for Carson Falsken. Won't go down as a sacrifice, but he'll get some props in his dugout. Now gives Mac Moyer an RBI opportunity. Looks like Daniel Garate is asking the Riptide dugout, and they're telling them to stay back, so the Riptide will keep the infield back. Moyer very unhappy with himself after fouling off that changeup. Oh, 0-1 the count to Moyer. He fouls off another. Some more frustration from Mac as he falls into an 0-2 hole. Moyer's got the Riptide infield back, so there's a lot of ways he could drive in a run here. Just got to put the ball in play with Francisco on third. Moyer slaps that one foul. Good location there from LeMaison, but Moyer was able to stay alive. It's Francisco over there at third. Reached on a single to right center. Got to second on a wild pitch and advanced to third on a Carson Falsken ground out. Moyer takes a breaking ball up and out of the zone, 1-2. LeMaison's 1-2. Down and in, 2-2. Moyer trying to stay alive as long as he can. Take it pitch by pitch. Got down in an 0-2 hole. Fouled a pitch off. Worked it back to 2-2 now. Trying to drive in Francisco from third. The pitch is hit on the ground to second base. Great piece of hitting from Mac Moyer, who's thrown out at first. He picks himself up an RBI as Francisco comes in to score, and the Oaks lead 5-1.
That's winning baseball there. Brady Francisco advancing to second on a ball in the dirt. Even though it got away pretty far from Cliff, he saw the trajectory of the ball and was bouncing his second right away as Schwartzberg lines one in the center field for a base hit. But 2 ground outs, one from Falsken to get him over to third, and then Moyer with a ground out to drive in Francisco. That's just a recipe for success, folks.
It's great execution from the Oaks offense, and Zach Schwartzberg, after striking out in his last at-bat, picks up where he left off in the first inning, and it's a single back up the middle for a knock. It's already the 8th hit of the day for the Oaks. Carrillo lines that one foul. Carrillo today is 1 for 2. He singled, drove in a run in the first, and also came around to score. Part of that 4-run first inning. Owen won the count. Carrillo takes the ball, 1-1. We got some active socials here between the Oaks and the Riptide. Schwartzberg leads off first. Pitch home is up and out, 2-1. Carrillo looking to stay hot at the plate. With the way Carrillo's been hitting, it feels like his numbers should be a lot better than they are, hitting 240, but when you look at the on-base percentage, you see it's over 400, and that's exactly what we expect from Austin Carrillo. He's also been driving in runs. 11 runs batted in this summer. The 2-1 on the outside corner for a strike. Carrillo not pleased with the call. Still talking to the home plate umpire a little bit. 2-2 now. Amazon's pitch. It's away. 3-2. Schwartzberg will be on the move here. See if Canales continues to hold him on. Doesn't look like he will. He'll play behind him. Get as much range as he can, especially with the left-handed bat. The 3-2. It's hitting to left field. Nick Upstill is there. He makes the catch for out number 3. The Oaks pick up one more here in the 4th. They lead 5-1 as we head to the 5th. Charlie Adamson back out there for his second inning of work to begin the 5th inning, where the Oaks lead 5-1. After picking up 4 in the first, the Oaks went scoreless for the 2nd and 3rd, but just picked up another in the 4th after RBI ground out by Mac Moyer. Some productive baseball for the Oaks, moving guys over and getting them in. Exactly what you're looking for, especially when you're restarting a second half in which the first half was subpar. 1-1 to Hackworth, each other. So the home stretch of this summer will be important for playoff seedings. That 2-1 pitch misses in.
It was a strike on Trackman.
3-1 to Hacksworth. Swings through it, 3-2 now. When you look at the CCL North standings, it's almost funny to see the Healdsburg Prune Packers and their 22-3 record.
Should be illegal.
3-2 from Adamson is rolled foul. Prune Packers are the only CCL team with 20 wins already.
And the Crawdads at 15-5, not too shabby a record themselves. That'd be good enough for first place in the South.
Crawdads a surprise team this summer. Was on social media, and someone I went to high school with is an intern for the Crawdads, just found that out. 3-2's lifted down the left field line, heading towards the corner. It'll stay fair. Trickle away from Austin Carrillo. It'll be a leadoff double, and he's heading to third is Hacksworth, and he'll get in there. A rare triple down the left field line. Patrick Hackworth picking himself up some extra bases and putting himself 90 feet away from scoring with nobody out. No triple category on the CCL website, not even a doubles category, so can't see how many Hackworth has of those this summer. Brings up Connor Clift, takes high. He struck out on 3 pitches last time up.
Doesn't show extra base hits, huh?
Nope, just home runs.
It's interesting because I saw a guy in the CCL who's actually playing. He tweeted out the top 5 extra base hit leaders himself. He was number 5 on the list. I don't remember the name of the guy. And
I think I saw that too. I think that was, he was talking about catchers only though.
Oh, I did see that, yeah.
Oh, was it catchers only?
Yeah.
So I saw Durfee and Aude were on the list.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, it was definitely about catchers.
Yeah. 1-2 now to Clift. That was tweeted by, that was another CCL player that tweeted
Yes.
that?
He was on the list, and he tweeted it
I
himself.
assume that he's in the portal.
Yeah.
Would be my guess.
1-2. It's a non-competitive pitch, 2-2.
Or maybe he's a broadcaster / player. Just keeping up with the stats.
Doubt it.
I would be very surprised.
Why? Cameron's a broadcaster / player.
2-2. He's on the outside corner for a called strike 3. Connor Clift having some words for the home plate umpire. Stayed in the box a little long. Heads back to the dugout after his second strikeout of the day. Clift unhappy with himself after he was unable to get the run in. Now it's Daniel Garate, who's also a strikeout victim in the second. He's looking to drive in Hackworth. Adamson misses upstairs with that breaking ball.
Wonder how that affects the rest of the game. Cliff really letting the umpire hear it, and he'll be talking to him again soon as he's the catcher for the Riptide.
That one's driven out to center field. That'll be deep enough to score a run. Mac Moyer makes the catch in front of the warning track. But Hackworth comes in to score as Daniel Garate picks up a sacrifice fly. And the Riptide get that run back.
The rare sac fly bat toss right there. Decent flip there from Grade.
No, can't do that. Can't be bat flipping a sac fly.
Yep.
When you're down 4.
Now it's the top of the lineup for the Riptide, and Nick up still. 1-0 count. did see a really long home run stare on Sunday. Wasn't really a pimp as this one's popped up on the infield. Left side, Schwartzberg calls, makes the catch to retire the side. The Riptide get one of the runs back. They trail 5-2 now as we're halfway home in this one. Headed for Durfee, Smith, and Wright. Brendan Durfee leads things off for the Oaks in the bottom of the 5th inning against Tristan LeMaison, who's in for his 3rd inning of work. We are expecting a long outing from Matt Maloney, who's making his 2nd start of the summer. But the Oaks offense really got to Maloney and forced him to throw 53 pitches through 2, give up 6 hits and 4 runs, which knocked him out of the game. And that brought in LeMaison. LeMaison pitched a 1-2-3 third and then gave up a run in the 4th on just 1 hit. So the leadoff single by Francisco and then some productive outs for the Oaks to get Francisco home. LeMaison now has got Durfee in a 1-2 hole. Durfee today is 1 for 2, scored a run and drove in a run back in the 1st. As he lifts that one down the left field line, Upstill is on the run. He makes the catch for out number 1. Looked like it was a disappearing changeup from LeMaison, and surprising that Durfee even was able to flick it that far. It's a really good pitch, and Durfee able to put it in play at all is impressive, but getting that down the left field line, making it a bit of a tough play for Upstill.
Showing those bat-to-ball skills.
Drew Smith's up there now. He's 0 for 2 today, struck out and flew out to center. Smith and Wright, the 5th and 6th hitters for the Oaks, are really the only 2 that have yet to make an impact on the game offensively. Everyone else has already reached base besides those 2 hitters, Smith and Wright. 1-1 to Drew Smith. It's a breaking ball away. Been consistent 1 through 9 for the Oaks, which is something that they've been trying to do day in and day out. But I've gotten some inconsistencies from the offense. We saw them put up 11 runs in a ball game last Friday up in Slow, but then the rest of the weekend, they did not scrap more than 5. 3-2 now to Drew Smith. LeMaison looking for his 2nd strikeout. 3-2. Flown into right center field. It's Just a long run out there and over the head of the right fielder. Smith cruises into second with a double. Looked like Patrick Hackworth was going to get there easily as he started to drift back, but the ball took off on him, and Drew Smith gets a double.
Took off, it did, because off the bat I thought it was going to be a routine fly ball, but the way the wind blows here usually and at Cal-Lu, ball just absolutely carried. One hopped off the wall.
And when he gets to second base, Drew Smith getting some love, getting from his fellow Duck, Daniel Garate over there at short. Chris Wright goes after the first pitch, as he often does. Fouls it away. Now with that Smith double, Wright is the only member of the Oaks that has yet to reach base, and we're only in the 5th inning of this one. 9 hits already for the Oaks. After just 4 on Sunday, the Oaks have already doubled that total. LeMaison just misses away. The Riptide have now sent someone down to their bullpen to begin loosening up. And the Oaks have nobody going, so Charlie Adamson will be out there for a 3rd inning of work. 1-1 to Wright. It's in the dirt. 2-1 now. Smith out there on second. 1 out as Durfee led things off with a fly out to left. Two to Wright. He's hit on the ground to the right side.
Wow.
Canales makes the play. Has to fall to his knees to do so. Flips it over to LeMaison for out number 2.
Seen a lot of great defensive plays on both sides today.
That advanced Drew Smith over to third base. With 2 outs, the Oaks will need a hit, though, to get him in, or a potential wild pitch. Aude goes after the first one and rolls it foul. He reached on an infield single back in the first and then struck out in the third. That one's up and out of the zone. 1-1. Today looking to drive in Smith from third with 2 outs. And he drives that one out to center field, but it is right at Grady Morgan. And Aude is retired for out number 3. Charlie Adamson's getting ready to head back out there for his 3rd inning on the bump. And we'll be back for the top of the 6th. Top of the 6th inning here, and that means we welcome in a very special guest, the one, the only, Cameron Deck for Cam's Corners. The first pitch is hit into center field, right at Mac Moyer. 1 pitch, 1 out to begin the 6th. You're good luck, Cam.
Can we even call him a guest at this point? It's just business as usual.
Very special
You're
correspondent.
muted, bruv.
Special
And I
correspondent.
was talking, I was muted. Awesome. Great start. I feel like every time I come on, it's the quickest inning ever.
Well,
there was
I didn't
one.
wanna
There was
jinx it,
one
but-
time that. There was one time it was bad.
Yeah, I do remember that.
that one's up and into Grady Morgan. Cam,
But there's nothing wrong with that, Cam. If
No.
On the top half of the innings, you come on and goes by pretty quick.
Yeah.
Gives us a quicker ending to the game. We can get to our staff meeting today.
Very important staff meeting today.
mandatory staff meeting.
Mandatory, yeah. It was optional last week. This week, mandatory.
Everyone will be in attendance for that. 1-2. Grady Morgan. And Cam, now Kyle Dobyns has made 2 starts since coming back from injury. You like what you've seen from him?
Yeah, I thought his slider was magnificent today. Locating it very well, both parts of the plate. Throwing strikes.
What were the numbers? What
Yeah.
were the numbers on it?
You know, I can't say for sure.
So that one's hit up the middle off the glove of Charlie Adamson. It'll be an infield single for Grady Morgan. Adamson upset with himself that he couldn't make the play. Wait, spin rate on that?
Yeah, according to Austin, it was 2,300. I wasn't paying too close attention to the spin rate. I liked location today. I've seen a spin rate before, but
Do you pick like
Yeah.
a certain stat to like look at each game? Like I'm gonna focus on velocity.
not velocity too much, more spin rate. And I also this year I've been looking at vertical break and horizontal break.
So that one's hit softly to the right side. Falsken's only plays to first. He gets Chapman. Morgan gets to second. And there's 2 away. You're big at the vertical and horizontal break.
Yeah, I wasn't too familiar with it last year, and over the off season while
Learned
at
more?
school, did some more research, and it's a lot more helpful to tell if it's a slider or a curveball by looking at the horizontal and vertical break.
Brings up Nathan Cadena, who singled and got to second on an error.
Some good work out of the Oaks pitching staff today, keeping Reese Chapman in check, one of the best hitters that we've seen so far in the CCL South. 0 for 3 today with 3 groundouts.
A guy who really likes to elevate over 800 slug. The Oaks have sent Colby Downer down to the bullpen to begin throwing. Saw Downer to complete a 3-inning save in his last appearance. Adamson's 1-1. It's hit into shallow center field. Moyer's able to get there, though, as he so often does. Mac Moyer tracking down a ball on the run. And Charlie Adamson gets through his 3rd inning of work. That'll probably be it for him. But a great job out of the pen from Adamson. As we head to the bottom of the 6th, Oaks leading 5-2. Brady Francisco will lead it off for the Oaks in the bottom of the 6th inning. And it looks like it's a new pitcher in the game for the Riptide.
Connor Kinney.
Thank you, Cam. Connor Kinney from Rancho Santa Fe, California. He's undecided on where he's going to be going to school next year. We've seen Kinney in the past. That one misses away. 2-0 to Francisco. This summer for Kinney, he's allowed just 1 run in 6 innings out of relief. Only 3 strikeouts in those 6 innings. So the ball is getting put in play, but not for much damage, just 5 hits. It's good for a 1.5 ERA. The 3-0 pitch is in there for a strike on Francisco. He's already scored a run today after singling in the 4th. 3-1. 3-2. Cam, we saw last summer Matt Maloney was one of, if not the best pitcher in the CCL, and the Oaks really touched him up today. What do you think the difference was?
I think a lot of the Oaks hitters got ahead in the count against Matt, and he was struggling to throw a lot of his pitches, his off-speed pitches for strikes as well, so forced him to throw.
Francisco goes down looking on strikes.
Yeah, forced him to throw fastballs. Late in the count, the Oaks took advantage of it.
Yeah, it was really the first 3 batters of the game. It was a 1-0 count, single, 2-0 count, single, 2-0 count, single. So 3 batters, 3 strikes, but they were all hits.
Yeah. Something to know about him, too, that surprised me was his changeup spin rate below 1,000. I haven't seen that before this summer.
Oh, wow. Well, you didn't throw it very often, but it was pretty effective when he did, wasn't it?
Yeah, a lot of swing and misses.
Yeah. Brings up Carson Falsken, who's given up switch hitting and moved just to the right side.
And just mention for the folks at home, Cam, why you want to have low spin rate on your changeup as opposed to a curveball where you want as high of a spin rate as you can.
You want that changeup to have more of a floating and downward action, trying to miss the barrel of the bat compared to a high spinning curveball or slider.
And why do you want the sliders and curveballs to have high spin rate, Cameron?
That's a good question, Sammy. I thought Austin.
What is more important, would you say, as far as scouts looking for? Do they look more at the break, the horizontal and vertical break, or the spin rate?
Another good question. I think they look at both. And most important, can you throw it for a strike? If you can't throw it for a strike, then what's the point?
Well, if you can throw it and it generates a lot of swings and misses, that's pretty good too, right?
Yeah. True.
Well, as someone who aspires to be a scout, you might want to learn about what they like.
Yeah, attaboy, Josh. Attaboy. Yeah,
You would think
Cameron.
so. You'd think so, Josh. Probably should get on that, huh? Don't even talk to me, Austin.
Nobody on, 2 outs now for Mac Moyer, who lines one to left field. It'll drop for his 2nd hit of the ball game.
He's not wrong, Austin. He's not wrong.
I'm just looking out for the boy.
He is.
Yeah, we don't want you to get an interview, Cam, and then they ask you
The same question.
just put this on the table. These are 2 curveballs right here. One has a higher spin rate, one has a higher horizontal and vertical break, and they say what's the better pitch?
Moyer gets a great jump. Schwartzberg will take all the way here, and great throw, and gets Moyer at 2nd. Connor Clift fires a dart over to second base, and that's actually going to bring Coach Solis out quite quickly to talk to the second base umpire, but I'm sure that'll be in vain. As we'll head to the final third of this ball game. Oaks lead 5-2. It is Colby Downer to be in the 7th inning. As in between innings, we were talking with Cam about the analytics as far as how to get into the business and who Cam should talk to help himself learn those analytic numbers and what means the most. As Colby Downard is out there to be in the 7th inning, which is when he came in Friday against the Slow Blues and came in a close-ish ball game, and then by the 9th inning, the Oaks were up 11-4, and Downard finished the last 3 to pick himself up a 3-inning save.
Cam needs to get down here earlier before games start and try to catch Soch when he comes out here. Try to pick his brain a little bit.
That one's up, 2-1.
That'd probably be a good person to talk to, no?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Bill Pintard as well, the Foresters coach. He's a Yankee scout. Probably a good guy to talk to.
Yeah.
Pitching coach Scott Radinsky, former big leaguer. Good guy to talk to.
Yeah.
We've been giving Cam all sorts of names.
Jack Wilson, former Major League Gold Glover. Son just got drafted 6 overall. Here all the time. Probably a good guy to talk to, too.
Here today. 3-1 now. Popped out of play, 3-2. A lot of resources for Cam. 3-2 to Colby Canales, who is 0 for 2 today. Downard taking a while to get his sign. Comes with a 3-2.
Oh,
He
yeah.
gets a strikeout.
Another person, Brian Kenny. The DMs are open on Twitter. You know Brian Kenny?
Yeah, on Emily Network.
Of course.
Yeah. Wait,
Yeah,
DMs
just
are
try
open.
Cam should just try to go into the DMs of Brian Kenny and just say, what do you think is the best numbers
Just
for a
run-
curveball?
Hey, Brian. So
Hey,
do I look
Brian,
at vertical
I'm an
break
I'm an
or spinning?
I'm an aspiring scout trying to get all the analytics numbers. What is the best to look at?
Crazy shift here by Carrillo after the triple from Hackworth in his last AB.
Holy cow. Carrillo's all the way down the left field line, and that left center field gap is pretty wide.
He's playing almost like a slow pitch softball.
Four-man
With a
outfield.
four-man outfield.
Downard's 0-2. It's a check swing by Hacksworth. It won't even appeal.
Slow pitch
Playing
softball.
playing the co-ed line too. He's pretty in.
The four-man outfield's how my dad broke his wrist. Trying to make a diving play out there.
And dove into his teammate.
No, just bent it on the ground, landed on top of it.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
There's another breaking ball that Downer gets a strikeout on. Gets Canales swinging with the slider, and then gets Hackworth looking on a front door pitch.
According to Cam, the analytics on that slider, we're good. Curve? Curve.
Curveball. Cool.
2,300 on the spin rate.
Thanks, Cam.
15 inches horizontal break.
Thanks, Cam. Brings up Connor Clift. Takes a strike. Clift looking to avoid the hat trick here. He's gone down a couple of times. Once swinging, once looking.
Took a little bit of time there to get back in the box.
There's a backdoor breaking ball.
And again, here he has been frustrated with the strike zone in the ball game today.
See if Downard can put him away. Gets ready for his 0-2. The pitch.
Ooh.
Just misses high. It's a good spot from Downer. It looked like he did freeze Clift. Holy cow. According to the
Yeah, it was a good spot.
yeah, according to the TrackMan, that was almost middle.
Below the belt. Yeah, good pitch.
A 1-2. Rolled over to the right side softly. Max Aude steps on the bag and records the out. A 1-2-3 7th for Colby Downard with a couple of strikeouts. And we head to the bottom half. 5-2. Back for the bottom of the 7th inning, Zach Schwartzberg gets up there to lead things off. Facing Connor Kinney, who's out there for his 2nd inning. Pitched a 1-2-3-6, picking up a strikeout. He actually gave up a 2-out single to Mac Moyer, but Moyer was cut down stealing, so it wasn't a 1-2-3 inning, just facing the minimum for Kinney. Schwartzberg takes a first pitch, strike. He takes another pitch that misses away. It's slider this time from Kinney. Nobody going for the Oaks. Colby Downard very capable of pitching multiple innings. Schwartzberg lines that one softly to second base, to shortstop. Karate makes the catch.
And with how Downard looked in the top of the 7th, why would you even think about taking him out? Looked absolutely dominant out there. Should have struck out the side, if not for the questionable call.
Yep. Either way, still picked up 2 strikeouts and then a very weak ground out to first base. An easy play from Max Aude. Brings up Austin Carrillo. That changeup misses away to Carrillo, who's 1 for 3 today with an RBI and a run scored, both of them back in the 1st inning. That one's in the dirt, 2-0. The Oaks offense has been pretty quiet since the 4th inning. Picked up that run in the 4th and not much since. Really been quiet since the 2nd inning. Even with that run in the 4th, it was just a single and then some ground outs and wild pitches. Oaks looking to pick up an insurance run. They lead 5-2 as Carrillo lifts that one to left field right at Nick Upstill. It's 2 outs on 5 pitches to be in the 7th for Connor Kinney. It's a good swing there by Carrillo. Who's right at Upstill, who was positioned perfectly. Brings up Brendan Durfee, today's designated hitter, yesterday's home run derby champ. 1 for 3 today. Another one of the guys who scored back in the 1st. He also drove in the 2nd run for the Oaks. He takes that breaking ball in there for a strike. Durfee looking to keep it going after his hot 1st half, earning himself a showcase game bid as he rolls that one over to the right side. Easy play for Canales. 1-2-3 inning for Connor Kinney. The Oaks lead 5-2 as we head to the 8th. Colby Downard back out there for his second inning of work as he fires a first pitch curveball to Daniel Garate. Downard's first inning in the 7th started with a couple of strikeouts and then ended on a weak roundout as this one's looped into right field for a base hit. Garate is now 1 for 2 today, adding to his sacrifice fly back in the 5th. That flips the lineup to the top of the order. Nick Upstill. Luckily for Downard, 3 of the top 4 hitters for the Riptide are left-handed. So Downard will have that beneficial matchup. So that one sorted by Nick Upstill. Tries to hold up but cannot.
I think that one was on the call.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. 0-1 to Upstill.
At least it should have been.
No, it was.
0-2 now. Downard not phased by the Garate hit. Coming back with back-to-back strikes.
Definitely a nightmare scenario for a lefty-lefty matchup here with how that breaking ball is working for Downard today.
And his 0-2 delivery.
Oh.
The check swing from Upstill. We're not even going to appeal. One-two the count. Upstill 1 for 3 today with a single to start things off in the ball game. Downard almost fires over the head of Aude at first. Still 1-2 to Upstill. Downard comes home. That one's up and out, 2-2. The Riptide have action in their bullpen, even though Connor Kinney has thrown 2 innings and faced the minimum. His day might be done. Downard's ready for a 2-2. He just misses off the outside corner.
It's a great take there by Upstill.
It's the location Downard was looking for. Just didn't get the call. 3-2 now. With a lefty, don't think Garate will be moving at first. He's not, as this one's popped behind us and out of play. Upstill stays alive. Connor McGuire waits on deck. He's been a dangerous hitter for the Riptide this summer. Downer trying to retire Upstill here. Ready for another payoff pitch. And it's driven out to right center. Chris Wright on the run. He'll make the catch in front of the warning track. And that'll be out number 1.
Loud out to open up the 8th. Upstill put a really good swing on that ball. It's something that you think maybe if they were using aluminum bats, maybe that one gets out.
It's kind of surprising that all the summer leagues use wooden bats as the college baseball world. The regular season is used with aluminum bats, but I think it should be reversed. I
think it should be
just wooden bats all around, right?
Just everyone has to
exactly.
Everyone has to use wooden bats.
Yeah, exactly. 1000%. I mean, these college players that rake with aluminum bats and then they get to the minors and are using a wood for the first time other than summer ball. And
well, it's one of the, there's been many a name, but one of the ones that I remember is Tim Wakefield. He was, I think he was even a Golden Spikes Award finalist as a position player in college. Gets drafted by the Pirates, can't hit, and eventually transitioned to a pitcher, and he didn't have any pitches to throw, so he decided,
throws a knuckle.
ball. Worked out. Worked out pretty well for him. He had a long career.
Yeah. We talked about earlier with Cam how Maloney's changeup had less than 1,000 spin I would love to see the spin rate on a Tim Wakefield knuckleball. There's no spin on that one. Downer goes over to first.
With the spin in RPMs, so that's how many times would Tim Wakefield's knuckleball rotate 360 degrees in a minute?
Can't be that high.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
don't know.
Might have to do some research on that.
Single digits?
What's
Yeah.
There's something to ask DM Brian Kenny right now. What's a good spin rate for a knuckleball?
2-2 to Connor McGuire.
I feel like Cam should know that.
Well, like R.A. Dickey threw different variations of his knuckleball too. Threw a harder one. I'm sure
Right.
that harder one had more spin.
2-2 to McGuire. The check swing. They appeal to first. He did not go. Another 3-2 now.
I'd like to see the metrics too on Zach Greinke EFIS pitch.
R.A. Dickey too was born without a UCL, and the doctor said he shouldn't even be able to open a door, turn a doorknob.
I did not know
Jeez.
that. Oh, wow. Very interesting.
I remember seeing something on MLB Network.
3-2. Garate goes, and it's ball 4. The tying run comes to the plate in the form of Grady Morgan. Still no action for the Oaks in the bullpen. It'll be Downer's 8th to finish. He's got a couple of lefties coming up, but it's a couple of tough lefties at that. Grady Morgan up there now, who's 1 for 3 today. Singled his last at-bat. Downard, a double play, ground ball from getting out of this. Grady Morgan, one swing away from tying up the ball game. 5-2 Oaks lead, bottom of the 8th. There's a breaking ball from Downer that's in there for a strike. The Oaks put up 4 in the first and then got 1 in the 4th, but haven't done anything offensively other than that. For the Riptide, it was a run in the 2nd and a run in the 5th. They're looking for some more right here with 1st and 2nd and 1 away. Downer looks at Garate. Still looking at him. Comes home. That one's fouled away. 0-2. To Grady Morgan. Downer looking for a big strikeout here. Garate at 2nd, McGuire at 1st. The 0-2 from Downard. Swung on and missed. There's that strikeout that Downard was looking for, and there's 2 away.
Not out of the woods yet with Chapman coming up. 0 for 3 today with 3 groundouts, but we know how dangerous Reese Chapman is at the plate. Change this ball game with 1 swing.
Very dangerous hitter is Chapman. 1-0 the count. Chapman loves to elevate the ball. The Oaks have kept him in check by making him keep it on the ground. The 1-0. Up and away, 2-0. Just last week, we saw Chapman do damage here in this ballpark. 3-run homer off West De La Torre. Look to be aggressive. He likes it here. 2-0. Check swing. There'll peel. He did go. That's a big strike for Downard, who was going to fall behind 3-0 to Chapman. Two and 1 the count to Chapman. Oaks lead 5-2. Pitch from Downard. Another breaking ball that's fouled back. 2-2.
Chapman kicking himself there, just missed it.
Downard loves throwing this curveball versus lefties. They've had some trouble picking it up, but one hanger, that's a brand new ball game. 2-2 the count. Deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 2 on. The pitch from Downard is fouled away. Like another breaking ball there from Downard. Definitely a pitch that he's feeling good with. See if he throws it again right here. Dangerous hitter in Reese Chapman. Downard set at the belt. Delivers. This is upstairs. Count runs full. This is the 3rd full count of the inning. A walk loads the bases for Nathan Cadena, who's waiting on deck. Both runners will get a head start here. Downard ready for 3-2. Looks to second. Comes home. And it's lifted out to deep right field. Wright's going back, 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 and it's a tie ball game. Reese Chapman does Reese Chapman things here. Driving one out to right field. And it's a brand new ball game. More late inning trouble for the Oaks bullpen. So this 8th inning on has really been troublesome for the Oaks. Riptide tie it up here with 2 outs in the 8th.
Oh.
Downer gets a swing and a miss of Candida.
Just can't let that guy beat you. It's their best hitter. It's their best player, and you give yourself an opportunity to not face him. And when you allow a couple guys to get on to set the table for him, you're going to get punished eventually. 3 groundouts before that, but that doesn't bother him. He always knows that he's one swing away from breaking himself out of any mini funk that he's in. And did so just there. Beautiful swing. Knew it right off the bat that it was gone.
1-2 is a strikeout of Cadena. Downer gets out of it after the Reese Chapman 3-run homer. It's a tie game. We head to the bottom of the 8th, 5-5. back for the bottom of the 8th inning as this game is flipped here in the 8th inning. It's really Yokes were in cruise control on this one, leading 5-1. Well, first leading 4-0, then it was 4-1, and it was 5-1. Riptide got one back, make it 5-2, where it was that score for a couple innings before Reese Chapman left the ballpark and tied the ball game 5-5 here in the 8th. 2-1 to Drew Smith, and this has been a common theme for the Oaks. They'll go up early in ball games, and then the offense gets complacent, and they'll go scoreless for a few innings while the other team chips away, and there's oftentimes a big hit, a home run, a bases clearing double that either ties or gives the other team a lead. Very similar script that we've seen for the most part of this summer for the Oaks. They're looking to still win this ball game though. Tied 5-5, bottom 8.
It all starts here with Drew Smith need the leadoff man on in a tie ball game in the late innings.
The Oaks dugout has gone silent at this point. The 3-2 pitch, and Drew Smith goes down looking.
You and Hunter want to go to Chili's after the game?
Here comes Chris Wright, who's the only member of the Oaks that has yet to reach base today. It's 0 for 3 at the dish. And Wright lines that one right at the second baseman, Cadena. Second out of the inning. Here comes Max Aude.
This is some absolute clutch pitching here from Casey Spencer of the Riptide. Your team just tied up the ball game, and he's in line to get a 1-2-3 inning to get his team right back in the dugout and start hitting again, try to take the lead.
That's another thing that's been a problem for the Oaks. They've come back in games, had that big inning, but then the subsequent pitcher will give up a run and erase that. But for Spencer here, he's come out firing. Got the strike out of Smith and then the line out of Wright, and he's just an odd day out from getting a 1-2-3 eighth. The 1-1 is hit over to the right side. That's going to get through for a hit. Let's talk about it. It's the second hit of the day for Max Aude. They'll bring up Brady Francisco for Spencer this summer. He's made 4 appearances, but has only pitched 3 2/3, which means he's never gone more than an inning.
Pinch runner for Aude. What number was that?
It
Let's
looks
see
like
the number.
from here, is that Dylan Jackson? Looks like Dylan Jackson. It is Dylan Jackson running for Max Aude. Seems like they wanted a first baseman so they can make that easy change defensively.
Well, we've seen Scott Radinsky used as a pinch runner
As well
a
as
relief
Sean
pitcher.
Blandino.
Well, Sean Blandino's an outfielder.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want him to be used, but
Yeah.
Radinsky being a pitcher, that's fine to burn him.
Right. It's Dylan Jackson, though. Francisco fouls that one off himself. 1-1. Jackson has not stolen a base this summer.
Big Red. Getting loose.
Jackson Jordan just began throwing in the Oaks bullpen. Don't think he'll be ready for the top of the 9th. Unless the Oaks really extend this inning. It's 2 outs and a runner on first. 1-1.
Oh.
Misses. 2-1.
Francisco getting on here would be absolutely massive for the Oaks because at the very least, it would guarantee that the top of the lineup is leading off the 9th inning.
Keep the inning going. Casey Spencer looking for a strikeout here. Picks over. Jackson back there easily. Spencer entering in relief in a 5-5 ball game. Got a couple of quick outs and a 2-out hit from Aude and another 2-out hit, this time from Brady Francisco. And the Oaks have 2 on and 2 out for Carson Falsken. Great piece of hitting from Francisco, getting his hands in on that fastball and ripping it on a line to left. Gives Carson Falsken a 2-out RBI chance. The Riptide have had someone up in the bullpen for the majority of this inning. Still going to stick with Spencer here, though. Jackson at second, Francisco at first. Pitch home. Breaking ball in there for a strike. Spencer seems like he has great feel for that pitch right now. He's been able to throw it for a strike with relative ease. Falsken looking to drive in the go-ahead run here. That one's off the glove of Clift. Both runners are going to advance. And now a wild pitch would give the Oaks the lead. It's going to be a passed ball there from Connor Clift, who couldn't make the catch on a pitch outside. Oaks looking to take advantage here. Base hit from Falsken has the potential to score 2 runs, especially now with Spencer on the windup and Francisco able to get a walking lead. Clift having to work hard now on every ball in the dirt. Blocks that one, 2-1. The outfielders for the Riptide are pretty shallow, wanting to cut down that second run from scoring on a potential single.
Leave.
Spencer's fallen behind, 3-1 on Falsken. This pitch has to be perfect for Carson to take a hack at it.
Oh.
And he watches ball 4.
That away.
Good at bat for Carson Falsken, and that brings up the top of the lineup, Mac Moyer, with nowhere for Spencer to put him. That'll prompt a mound visit, and that's the head coach for
Yeah, they're going to
the
make a
Riptide,
change here
so
with the lefty in the pen.
they're going to go to the left-hander Trevor Ernst. And he's going to try to get out of a bases-loaded jam. He'll have to do so against Mac Moyer. We'll be right back. Bottom of the 8th inning. 5-5 is the score. Dylan Jackson represents the go-ahead run at third base. Brady Francisco is on second. Carson Falsken at first. With Mac Moyer up there to face the newly entered Trevor Ernst. And Ernst's first pitch is rolled to the right side, and he gets through. 1 run comes in. The second run is going to come in to score. Moyer heads to second. He's going to be thrown out. He actually might have missed the tag. And Moyer is called out, but not before he drives in 2 base runners. The Oaks lead 7-5 as we head to the 9th, and a big red Jackson Jordan will come on for the save. Top of the 9th inning. Oaks lead 7-5. Jackson Jordan is on the mound, attempting to pick up the save. Jordan has 2 of them this summer. He's been the closer for the Oaks. Jordan's rocking a 1.13 ERA.
Wow.
9 strikeouts in 8 innings.
I think that almost mirrors his spring ERA with Moore Park College.
The 3 runs he gave up last outing were all unearned.
Yeah, 4 runs allowed for Jordan, but just the 1 earned. 2-0. Jordan is. Count is 2-0, but Jackson is also 2-0 on the summer. Picking up wins when the Oaks got a couple late victories.
Oh.
That one's inside. 3-0 to Colby Canales. He's looking to reach for the first time today. 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Jordan's 3-0 delivery.
Yep.
He's in there for a strike. 3-1. After the Reese Chapman 3-run homer to tie the ballgame in the 8th, it's great to see that the Oaks were able to stay in the game.
Oh,
That one
what?
misses up.
Yeah, up right down the strike zone, Josh.
It's a leadoff walk to Colby Canales. It would have been very easy for the Oaks to fall out of this game after the Riptide tied it, and especially after they start the bottom half with back-to-back outs and have nobody on with 2 outs, but they continue to fight, and Mac Moyer gave them the lead with that 2 RBI knock.
Well, what has to be said about the bottom of the 8th is everything happened with 2 outs as well.
Clutch hitting.
It was that bottom half of the order, too, that flipped it over to the top and allowed Moyer to drive in those runs.
They're good spots to miss.
Yeah, that was filthy right there.
Jordan looking to replicate that same pitch against Patrick Hackworth, who is 2 for 3 today. Drove in a run and also scored after a triple. That one's in the dirt, and Francisco picks it easily. 2-1 the count. Jordan has not had the command that we're used to seeing from him. Looking for a ground ball here. The 2-1 to Hacksworth is hit on the ground sharply to Schwartzberg on to second for 1 to first, double play. Just what the doctor ordered as Jackson Jordan induces a 6-4-3 double play ball, and the Oaks are 1 out away from a victory.
Well, it had been a while since we saw a nice defensive play in this game from Schwartzberg, but there he is again to make another nice one.
Schwartzberg really the unsung hero today. He's made some absolutely remarkable plays at short that have really, in hindsight, really made a massive impact on this game.
Pinch hitter.
It's going to be a pinch hitter now for Connor Clift.
Aiden Garcia.
Garcia has been one of the best hitters for the Riptide this summer, hitting over 300. One of the multiple catchers that are very capable behind the plate for the Riptide. Garcia looking to pass the baton, just keep this game alive for the Riptide. He takes a ball, 2-0. Jordan with some good spots here that he's just not able to get the call on, but he'll try to stay at the corners. It's 2-0 to Garcia. Is lifted on the infield. Drew Smith calls it, settles under it, makes the catch, and the Oaks win a roller coaster of a ball game, 7-5. Jackson Jordan picks up the save, and the Oaks win to start the second half strong. After putting up 4 in the first, the Oaks offense went dormant for a large chunk of this ball game. We saw the Riptide hit a 3-run homer to tie it in the 8th, but 2 runs in the bottom half after a Mac Moyer RBI single gives the Oaks a 7-5 lead, in which they hold on to win. With that hit and his 3 hits today, Mac Moyer earns himself Player of the Game awards. As we head to Orange County tomorrow, as the Oaks take on the Riptide once again. And for all of us and the Conejo Oaks broadcast crew, Cameron Deck, Austin Gregory, Sammy Holladay, I'm Josh Mechanick, and we'll